All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. There's never a better time than the present, right? So welcome, good afternoon, good morning, depending on how you see this hour. My name is Dr. Kimberly Lowry. I have the distinct honor of serving as the new Executive Director of the Texas Success Center. And I'm joined by an amazing team who you'll see more of in just a few minutes, but I wanted to just elevate to let you know that you're going to be hearing from me today, as well as Dr. Christine Bailey and Dr. Martha Ellis. And if you can't already tell, everyone at the Success Center is really excited to welcome you all and start to talk about our upcoming institute. On the next slide, you'll see what our plan is for today. So I'm going to do my best job to give you an amazing welcome, and then I'm going to pass it to Dr. Bailey, who's going to talk all about the Institute, giving you an overview. We'll go through the agenda at a glance, talk about some advanced work. Here's some tips and suggestions from Dr. Ellis, and then we'll wrap up and make sure that we have some time at the end for questions, share a timeline, and an exciting opportunity related to dual credit students on your campus. I want to start by just affirming and reminding everyone about the mission of the Success Center. And that mission really is aligned with the same mission that you all have at your institutions. We are tirelessly dedicated to advancing the social and economic mobility of the constituents and citizens across our state, right? And are committed to supporting community college reform as we work to really help Texans rise out of poverty. So this mission is very important to us. It really undergirds all of our work, and we wanted to make sure to mention it, as we know, like you, this is really important at a time where we're seeing so many changes across our state and across our country. So I promised you that I would also talk about the amazing team members that I have at the Success Center. And you see all these beautiful faces. These ladies work tirelessly to make sure that we can curate experiences, professional development, and opportunities to hopefully empower you to continue to do the work that you're doing on your campus. So I want to thank the Success Center team and also make sure that you can put a face with a name, as I'm sure you see emails, names, you see them on the move at the institutes, but truly this is a labor of love for this team. So I'm so honored and appreciative of the work that they do day in and day out for institutes just like this one. And it would be an institute without our Pathways coaches, right? Many who are on the call. So coaches, thank you so much for the work that you do. College practitioners, you know more than most, right? How tirelessly these coaches work to make sure that not just that you are able to progress through action plans and complete your SOAs, but that you're really leaning into those goals that you identify and that they are working with you, advocating for you, supporting you in your work as you really lean into those metrics and those outcomes that you're striving towards. And we're just so fortunate to have so much wealth, depth, and experience on our team as coaches, and we look forward to welcoming them to our Fall Institute. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I did not thank our funding partners. It is no guess that this work, while it is a labor of love, there's also a cost associated with it. And we are so fortunate and humbled by the amount of supporters we have in the space of funding partners that fund the work of the Success Center, but also fund the opportunities for colleges to actively participate. So I've asked you all do all this, keep the cost low for institutions to participate. It really is through the support and the advocacy of our funding partners, who by which we really try to be mindful, be great stewards of not only their gifts and their support, but translate that into opportunities for you all, both on your campus as well as with us virtually or in person, like at an institute. So with all that, I wanted to also just elevate our Talent Strong Texas Pathways framework. And again, this is not a new framework. Many of you have seen the evolution of the framework from kind of a static model to more of this illustration. But it really is also, in addition to our mission, something that undergirds our work. So when you think about a student's experience, we hope and believe that through connecting with a student, making sure they're on a right pathway, that they enter and achieve certain milestones, they're able to progress and ultimately succeed. And for us, that success is either postgraduate success that looks like transferring to obtain a bachelor's degree or entering the world of work, right? So when we talk about a student success experience, it really is guided with all of these elements and translates to those practices that you're doing on your campus. In addition to our framework, we recognize that that is only one piece of a student experience. So you'll notice more currently work, but even through the SOA, even through our institutes, a focus also on accomplishment and self-fulfillment needs as we think about, again, students' career goals, social economic mobility, but also a focus on belonging and wellness, right? Recognizing that the psychological, basic, and safety needs of our students is equally as important to the infrastructure at our colleges, right? So you'll notice, again, as you experience this upcoming institute, and you'll see some of the additional opportunities we have, whether that is our Minding College Minds opportunity, our student parenting opportunity, that we are also trying to support you in addressing the success of your students, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. So the beauty of all this is it all ties back into our Talent Strong Texas Pathways strategy, and in particular, the Guided Pathways framework rooted in these 4 pillars of essential practices. All know more than most what these essential practices are because you've been doing the work. And I want to thank you all for completing those updated SOAs, because that really also allows us to validate and confirm what it is you're doing and where, as a success center, we can lean in and continue to help support and provide resources. What you're going to hear a lot about today is the current pillar that we're focusing on in this upcoming institute, and that is pillar 3, keeping students on their pathway. So this will be all about proactive supports and making sure students not only are on their pathway, but they're staying on their pathway. They're persisting, they're being retained, and ultimately are completing their educational goals. If you reflect back on the SOA that you all just completed, this pillar is all about things like academic advising, systematic checkpoints, structured schedules, basic needs, belonging interventions. You will hear later from Dr. Bailey as she starts to talk about a call for concurrent sessions. For those of you that know me both personally and professionally, you know I love a good opportunity to highlight your work, document your work, and share your work with peers. And I really appreciate the opportunity for you all to submit concurrent sessions based on this pillar, highlighting the work that you all are doing, right? So across our state, so much is happening. And I know we'll also talk a little bit about performance-based funding and the House bill, but remember, all that is rooted in student success. So please, when Dr. Bailey talks about that call for programs or concurrent sessions, when your coaches give you a nudge to submit a session, please know that it is rooted in us wanting to make sure, one, we hear and learn about the work that you're doing, that you're elevating the work that you're doing, but also that you're sharing the work that you're doing with your peers across the state, in particular, as it relates to this pillar, so that we can continue to refine, continuously improve, and reach our goals for student success. So with that, I want to thank you all. I know it is the beginning of the semester. It's Friday. I often say you could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us, and we appreciate that. Again, I serve as the new executive director, and I'm so excited about the opportunity to welcome you all, not just to this orientation, but to see you all in November. With that, I am going to pass the baton to Dr. Bailey so we can start to go a little bit deeper into what to expect for this institute. Dr. Bailey?
Thank you. Thanks so much, Dr. Lowry, for that great introduction of our upcoming Pathways Institute and for sharing our updated Pillar 3 essential practices. Absolutely, that is one of my favorite aspects of this institute, is highlighting the great work that our colleges are doing. So thanks for calling that out. And welcome, everyone. I want to thank you for spending time with us today to prepare for another great Talent Strong Texas Pathways Institute. And I want to send a special welcome to our new Pathways coach, Dr. Adelina Silva, and any of our new Pathways leads that are joining us for the first time today. We're so glad you're here. So as we focus on scaling these best practices from Pillar 3 that are research-based from the field that we know will provide invaluable and inescapable supports beyond that first semester, beyond that first year, what we talked about last spring. We want students and learners to receive systematic advising and communications and inescapable supports along their entire learning journey so that they feel like they belong and therefore persist to achieve their academic goals. So as such, this institute is entitled Steering Students to Success, Strategies for Keeping Students on Their Right Pathway. Thanks, Amber. At this institute, your leadership team will have the opportunity to consider findings and reflections from experts, national experts, and our successful Texas community colleges to inform and accelerate whole college redesign efforts focused on the learner's persistence and efficient completion of their intended credential. We will engage with fellow Texas Community College leaders in a peer learning network designed to implement the essential practices of Pillar 3 and analyze data to gain insights into the student experience, analyzing fall to spring persistence rates and enrollment and completion rates by program. And as always, each college will develop detailed college action plans for scaling the Talent Strong Texas Pathway strategy at your campus to improve student outcomes. As in years past, our grant funding allows us to invite a team of 7 from each campus, and I've listed the specific roles that are most relevant and best suited for this institute. We recommend that each CEO bring a team that's responsible for shaping the student experience as they progress along their chosen pathway. Of course, this should include our pathways lead, our chief academic officers, chief student affairs officers, and you may want to consider others who are responsible for designing, advising experiences at your college, including for students that are in continuing education or basic education students or multilingual learners or parenting students. So it may be appropriate to bring those wellness and belonging champions. Please bring your IR directors, your financial aid directors, among others that are listed here. And our registration opens today. Our manager, our programs manager, Sway Youngston, will send an email out to each of you with a document that will provide discount codes specific to your institution, which you can share with your 7 team members that you're wanting to bring with you. This code will waive the registration fee as well as the hotel expense for 2 nights, Wednesday, November the 13th and Thursday, November the 14th. And the cost associated with attending any of the pre-institute workshops are also included in this discount code. We know that some of you will want to fly in or drive in the night before in order to attend the workshops. So you'll need to make arrangements to cover Tuesday night, and this expense will be covered by the college. And of course, if you'd like to bring additional team members beyond the 7 that are covered by our funders, you're more than welcome to. We will have the opportunity for you to pay for their registration fees in our registration portal. The cost for additional participants is $545 per person, which again covers the institute and the pre-institute workshop. And the college will need to plan to pay for the hotel rooms for these additional participants. So we're excited to hold this event at the Omni Fort Worth in Fort Worth. As you can see, we just couldn't miss the opportunity to play up the fact that we will be right down the road from the stockyard at this event. So again, the theme is steering students. And for your convenience, the hotel room reservation process will be completed through the event portal, and each guest will be able to make their own room reservations at our discounted room rate. So please note that all of the hotel expenses are charged when you check out. Our registration deadline is October the 18th. This is important because we're going to release our discounted room block rate at this time. And you will note that we have a 6-week registration window. So once you receive the discount codes today, please go ahead and meet with your CEO, coordinate efforts to identify the best members of the team and share those registration codes out as soon as possible. And also, we'd ask you to share out information for the request for proposals at that time. So I'm excited to share with you at this time our featured keynote speakers and some of the professional development opportunities that we have planned. So our opening keynote speaker is Dr. Chrissy Davis-Jones. She is a compassionate leader who's passionate about the mission of teaching and learning and serious about the business of student access and success. She serves as the Vice President for Student Success and is the Chief Enrollment Officer at Harrisburg Area Community College in Central Pennsylvania, with over 25 years of experience at various post-secondary institutions. And when she arrived at Harrisburg Area Community College, she quickly made an impact by securing a $2.3 million Title III Strengthening Institutions Program grant to transform the first-year experience for greater student success. And then she established and co-led the college's Strategic Enrollment Planning Committee, and her focus on implementing a college-wide strategic enrollment plan with student access and success at the center increased the college's fall to fall and fall to spring retention rates for the first time in 10 years. That's exciting. Throughout her esteemed career, Dr. Davis-Jones has brought a student-centered approach to her work and the work of the institutions that she has served, and she understands the student experience is best served when academics, student support services, and co-curricular activities are considered holistically. So we are thrilled to have her join us to challenge us in how we might be more focused in improving the student experience. Our closing plenary speaker is Dr. Stephen Handel. Dr. Handel serves on our Knowledge Development Steering Committee and is the premier leader on transfer in higher education in the United States. So as the Director of Strategy for Post-Secondary Education Transformation at ECMC Foundation, Dr. Handel oversees a portfolio of grants designed to solidify the foundation's commitment to systematic and widespread improvement of students' post-secondary education outcomes, especially for students from underserved groups. And Dr. Handel specializes in college and university transformation as a key lever in substantially increasing student degree and credential completion and advancing social and economic mobility. Prior to joining ECMC, he served as the College Board's senior strategist for strategic higher education assessment, use, and opportunity. In this capacity, he consulted with college and university enrollment leaders in the application of fair and effective higher education admission assessments and other resources that benefit students seeking success in post-secondary education. Dr. Handel also served as the Chief Admissions Officer for the University of California System, providing leadership on freshman and community college transfer policy and practice for 9 UC undergraduate campuses. We're thrilled to have him help us by providing practical examples on how we might make progress in the area of transfer with a call to action as we recommit to institutional transformation with effective transfer pathways to four-year institutions. And then I'd love for you and your team members to consider joining us for 3 fabulous pre-institute workshops. The first one is Unlocking Insights, Maximizing the Texas Higher Ed Secure Data Portal for Strategic Decision-Making. This workshop provides the opportunity to explore the coordinating board's new secure data portal that utilizes longitudinal data that is student level data. So literally, this is hot off the press. Your CEOs were introduced to this new powerful tool a month ago at TAC's summer CEO meeting, but this workshop will be designed for practitioners in mind and will allow us to roll up our sleeves and dig into your institutional data and cohort data elements relating to first-year persistence and second-year persistence. So we invite you to join this unique opportunity to collaborate with your peers and to discuss how data insights can inform your strategic decision-making. This workshop is required for all colleges. It's that important. Each college should plan to send two participants to this workshop. I'd recommend considering presidents and chancellors, vice presidents, institutional research directors, and pathways leads for this workshop. Our second pre-institute is Guiding Student Success, Leadership Strategies for Strengthening Institutional Infrastructure. This workshop will focus on the practical strategies to improve persistence and completion. So our friends from Harrisburg Area Community College will share how they redesigned the college infrastructure to create a unified experience between continuing education, workforce, and academic programs. This workshop is important because it provides participants with the opportunity to examine practical approaches for addressing multifaceted challenges that students face that can disrupt their educational journeys. Participants will gain actionable strategies to assess and enhance their college's infrastructure. This session is open to all participants, and I would recommend pathways leads, vice presidents, chief student affairs officers, advising leads, chief CE, continuing education and career and technical education officers, and financial aid officers for this session. And then finally, our third session will be hosted by the Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute. It is Minding College Minds, embedding mental health supports into your pathway strategy. This is a required session for our 13 colleges that are participating in cohort 1 of our Minding College Minds learning community, and we'll bring together the pathways lead and the Minding College Minds implementation team lead for the campus to discuss mechanisms for integrating mental health supports into your broader Talent Strong Texas Pathways strategy efforts. Again, I highly recommend that the Pathways lead attend this workshop if you are in the Minding College Minds cohort, so that you can develop actionable next steps for enhancing your institutional commitment to mental health and explore best practices for aligning mental health initiatives with your overarching institutional goals. And then I want to share, thanks Amber, a quick high-level overview of each day with you. So these workshops will be hosted on Wednesday, November the 13th at 10 a.m. We'll have lunch provided for all attendees attending these 3 workshops. And as a reminder, the first 2 pre-institute workshops are open for all attendees. And for those not joining pre-institute workshops, we'll welcome them at 2 p.m. for our opening plenary session featuring Dr. Christy Davis-Jones, and transition into the first team strategy time with your Pathways coach. Afterwards, we're so excited to have you join us for our networking reception that will feature a jazz performance by the students of Weatherford College. And then on the second day, we'll start bright and early. We'll have coffee and breakfast ready for you. And at 9 a.m., our CEOs will join Mr. Josh Weiner for the CEO Roundtable. He is the executive director of the College Excellence Program at the Aspen Institute, and our CEOs know him very well, and they value their time together as a cohort and with Mr. Weiner. So please do let him know. Please do let them know that he will join us again in Fort Worth, and that they will remain as a cohort and for a networking lunch. And then our other guests will start the day with concurrent sessions at 9 a.m. and then we'll move into our problem of practice session. We've also set aside networking time for you to join your peers at lunch. And then after lunch, we'll move into team strategy time 2 to explore your institutional data. We'll have our second round of concurrent session presentations, and then you'll rejoin your college leadership team for team strategy time 3, where we'll begin to synthesize everything that you've learned over the course of the first 2 days and begin identifying some next steps for your college. Dinner is on your own this day. I highly recommend making reservations for your team. I know so many of you enjoy going out as a team and for this evening to relax and bonding as a college. And then on our last day together, we will honor one individual with the inaugural Cynthia Farrell Pathways Star of Excellence Award. Dr. Martha Ellis and our coaches have stepped forward with the idea for this award, and I've asked Martha to introduce it on their behalf and to share information about the nominating process. Our regularly scheduled Rose and Rodeo Awards will be postponed to the spring until after we've had a chance to complete our validation process for the 2024 Scale of Adoption Assessment documents that have been submitted this fall. And thank you for completing the SOA. We so appreciate that. And of course, I mentioned that we're excited to have Dr. Handel join us for the closing plenary. He will provide a call to action as we move into Team Strategy Time 4 to complete college action plans. As you are making your travel arrangements, please plan to stay with us until 11:30 a.m. so that you have ample dedicated time for strategic planning conversations that are needed in order to maximize the impact of this institute and to have that invaluable mentorship time provided by your Pathways coach. So we hope that you will consider submitting a proposal for the concurrent sessions. This is now live on our website, and we'll share the application link that will be embedded in the email that goes out today. We will have 5 themes for this institute. The first is related to effective caseload advising. So for this strand, we're looking for the activities, processes, and policies that have been developed at your campus that have enabled the college to implement effective and sustainable caseload management models with faculty or professional advisors assigned to students in specific meta majors. We want to know how the campus has scaled your caseload advising model so that it supports all students at your campus. And we want to know what kind of capacity building activities that you've utilized that have supported improvement in your caseload advising model, and then how you measure the impact of caseload advising. What kind of data are you collecting? How are you using it for improving your advising processes? And then our second strand is about advising for milestone momentum. We want to better understand the activities, the processes, and the policies that have enabled systematic communications and inescapable early alerts for all students at key program milestones or at the beginning of each semester. Again, we're focused on how do we scale these mandatory advising opportunities for all different types of students, and what kinds of capacity building activities should other colleges be thinking about that you have implemented at your campus, and how are you measuring the impact of these activities? Our third one is about building student-focused schedules and program structure. So we'd like to know better how the college has restructured programs and schedules to promote student completion, how you are utilizing data from student educational plans to improve scheduling of your program-related courses, and how has the college grown re-enrollment rates and semester-to-semester retention and year-to-year retention? What kinds of activities, processes, and policies have been developed in terms of scheduling and program structure, and what are the impact of these activities? And then, as you know, we've been embedding wellness and belonging into each of our pillars. So once again, we will focus on wellness and belonging within the context of Pillar 3, looking to better understand how you've developed and ensure basic needs supports are systematically and regularly communicated to all of your students, How have you improved the campus culture and removed structural barriers to provide resources and ensure that students have the supports that they need when they need them? What kind of college-wide interventions have been implemented to promote students' sense of belonging? And how are you measuring the sense of belonging regularly at the campus in order to make sure that you're making progress in this area? And then finally, our last bucket relates to innovations related to Pillar 3 and the lessons learned that you can share with others, whether it's about strategic investments relating to growth in persistence rate or in response to House Bill 8, or how you've scaled other innovative strategies that support persistence and retention, or how you are supporting targeted populations like parenting students or dual credit students, and breaking down systemic barriers to credential completion for these populations. So I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat myself. The very most effective concurrent session presentations focus on the how. How are you bringing these promising practices to scale? And other college leaders are really looking to you to understand how they might replicate what's working at their campus within their specific context, whether they're urban, rural, small, or large. And the application window for concurrent sessions will close on October the 2nd. It's a tight window with 4 weeks, so please do go ahead and share this opportunity with others at your institution in the coming days. And I believe Sway has just dropped in a link for the call for proposals that you can forward that has this detailed information that I just shared with you. And then we've curated a set of pre-readings that I would love for you to share with each member of your team that will join us in November. These readings are uniquely tied with the theme of this institute and will provide a foundational learning so that you can get the most out of your engagement with the curriculum provided at the event. The first report, State of Higher Education for 2024, focuses on the top reasons why students enroll at any particular institution and the top reasons why students consider stopping out. Findings contain new insights relating to the importance of students' sense of belonging and this connection with their sense of perception of the value of their educational experience, and has some really important implications related to persistence for us to consider. The second report, From Setback to Success, Meeting Comebacker Students Where They Are, includes findings from 52 colleges that are action-focused with college leaders in mind. Recommendations in this report include institutional policy changes that make it easier for adult learners to re-engage with the college, with the removal of re-enrollment barriers and providing ongoing supports through credential completion. The third report, Driving Towards a Degree, the Dual Frontier in Student Success, New Solutions and New Challenges, features findings from a longitudinal study that focuses on building the capacity for personalized, timely guidance. It identifies top institutional barriers and provides practical solutions targeted to key institutional roles with an emphasis on scalable solutions. Our fourth report, Helping Community College Students Climb the Transfer Ladder, was shared last April with those who joined Dr. Linda Garcia's workshop on transfer advising with CCRC. It contains perspectives regarding what helps students know more about transfer plans, and I think it's really important that each of our attendees read this for this institute. And I've also included a recent journal article published by Dr. Handel and his associate titled 3 Perspectives on Transfer, that was published in the Inside Higher Education Journal in the recent days. So let me just pause a moment and invite you to lift up any questions that you have about the Institute at this time. And as a reminder, I see Sway's doing a great job with chat. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. I don't see anything, so I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so let's shift to advanced work. Our team has prepared 2 items as advanced work for your college in preparation for the Institute. Once again, we're bringing back the problem of practice. So you'll have the opportunity to pre-plan with your CEO and your peers at your campus to craft a problem of practice statement relating to Pillar 3. I would recommend that during your prep call with your Pathways coach that you work to refine the problem of practice statement and supporting details that you would like to share with your peers. I've drafted a 1-page template identical to last year, so it should be familiar that you can pre-populate and submit before the event through our document center. The template is super short and asks you to define a specific challenge that you are facing, the key strategies that you've already tried, data elements that you've collected and are using to measure progress on student milestones. And we want you to go ahead and also identify who will be the presenter of the problem of practice at the Institute. And we want to ensure by doing the problem of practice as pre-work that you have plenty of time for problem solving with your peers. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Dr. Martha Ellis to share our second advanced work assignment and information regarding prepping for the Institute with your coach and how to nominate someone for a new award that I just mentioned. Martha.
Thanks, Christine. It's wonderful to see everyone today. I hope that your fall semester at each of your colleges has had a very successful and also a calm start to this year. Within this advanced work, you will focus on the college's intentional outreach to students to keep them on their pathways to completing a credential of value and a transfer to a university. I want you to think for a minute with me about going on a trip. So say I was going from San Antonio to Houston, and I would look at a map and I'd say, okay, I'm going to go down I-10 and it's going to take me about 2 hours. And so I hop on the road. I know my goal. I know how I'm going. I see the end result. And along the way, the Texas Highway Department has put up some wonderful mile markers. So I can see I'm 88 miles away and I'm 62 miles away and I'm 24 miles away. So I see my progress along the way. Now think for a minute, if we take this same trip and GPS. It still gives me the map. It also gives me the miles as I'm going along the way. But notice that it will let me know if there's slow traffic ahead and will alert me. Also, it'll say in 10 miles, you're going to take exit 25 and turn to the right. And as I get toward Houston, it will say, stay in the second lane from the left and take the I-45 South exit toward Galveston. And if I happen to miss that exit, it will reroute me so that I can get back on my course. So when you think about what we're doing in this advanced work, think about visually diagramming that GPS intentional outreach of the student experience so they know how to get from the entry through their completion goal. We're referring to outreach as touch points by the college to the learner. So these touch points are intentional, systematic opportunities for the institution to engage with students, to provide support and ensure, much like our GPS, that the students stay on track toward credential completion. So we suggest that you conduct an audit of all the touch points your college has implemented and map them along the different steps of the student learning journey after the initial onboarding process. We did the onboarding last spring, so we're picking up from onboarding and going through the entire student journey until completion. Also encourage you to pick a specific student population or persona. For example, pick transfer students or adult learners or first generation students because we know that there may be some very specific outreach or touch points for different populations. Color code the touch points for those that are inescapable and mandatory and those that are just suggested to the students. And remember, touch points can come from advisors, faculty, financial aid, special programs, or other department personnel who intentionally reach out to students. It can include check-in milestones at 15 semester credit hours, 30, 45. It could be required meetings with advisors or peer mentors. It could be early alerts with a student response required. Also, don't forget about technology-delivered communications, utilizing AI, text software, your learning management system, or other technology systems where you reach out, you have a touch point with those students, and if there's action required, be sure to include that as well. You'll notice there's in the packet that you get about advanced work, there's quite a few questions. Those are there for your reflection. You don't have to answer those questions. What you're submitting is the map that you're developing, the touch points map. The questions are there because as college teams, you'll be engaging with these maps in Team Time 1 to be looking at gaps, reflect on the scale of each of the touch points. How effective are these touch points? How do we know if they're effective or not? And then prioritize opportunities for improvement. In the packet, you'll also see samples. So we try to give you a lot of different samples. It could be something like a chart or a table, or it could be something that is really very visual with a highway map. You can also make it interactive if you want. You can put everything on basically the document, or if you want to make it interactive and you click on number 1, first term, and then all the touch points pop up, you're welcome to do that. Be as creative as you want to developing this map that will be beneficial for not only your team, but think about student usage as well. Again, this one is due on October the 23rd, along with your problem of practice, so you can submit them both together, and that link is provided for you in the document that you have online. The other thing that is important to remember is your Pathways coaches are there for you. They will be reaching out to you to set up a Zoom meeting. I know that some of you are actually having site visits this fall. There's quite a few of them. So they will incorporate making sure you have what you need to be successful at this institute while they're there on the site visit. And again, it will be an opportunity for you to ask them questions, but please feel free to reach out to them as well if you have any questions between now and when these activities are due, either on October the 2nd for your proposals or October the 23rd for your advanced work. Speaking of coaches, the coaches, when they work with you at the institutes or on site visits, have had the wonderful opportunity to see faculty and staff throughout each of your colleges that have a positive impact on removing barriers for student success. Last spring, when Cynthia Farrell announced her retirement, the coaches designed an award to recognize these stars that are within your faculty and staff throughout the institution. And so what we wanted to do is to make sure that we launch this today so that we could recognize a person from one of your colleges at the Fall Institute. So who is eligible? Anyone employed at Texas community colleges at any level is eligible for this award. The criteria for the selection includes that the person is a change agent, they provide positive impact for students as well as others in the college community. They exhibit empathy and care. They are motivational and inspiring student achievement, and they're an advocate for students in removing barriers. So the process is each college district can nominate one person. The CEO is actually the person that is required for the nomination. The nomination form is provided, and in that form, it has the different criteria, and you will provide justification and impact of why you're nominating this person. There is a character limit. So let me encourage you to do bulleted points if possible. Don't worry about the adjectives. Don't worry about the these and the those, but put in exactly what you want to really acknowledge the impact. The only other thing for the nomination are 2 letters of recommendation. So then that gives you the opportunity to have some additional information about this particular faculty or staff member. The call for nominations goes out today. The deadline to submit will be October 2nd. We have a subgroup of the coaches that will be evaluating and selecting the person, and the award will be given on November the 15th at the Institute. The award will include a $500 monetary award. It will include, of course, a very nice crystal trophy, but also a plaque to your college that recognizes the Star of Excellence, Pathway Star of Excellence Award went to your college and to this particular person. So really encourage you to think about who you want to nominate, to get those nominations in by October the 2nd. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to provide you with additional information. Thanks so much, and look forward to reading the wonderful stories about all your outstanding faculty and staff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Martha. And thanks for all of our coaches for making that happen. It's just really special. And I think exactly captures the spirit of Dr. Cynthia Farrell in that award. And I'm so excited to be able to recognize new leaders that are in our institutions. So I do not see any questions, Sway and Amber, so I'm just going to move on to the next slide. Thank you. So I wanted to share with you that we actually have a hub on our website for you, designed to have all the resources that you need at your fingertip. And we've been doing this since before I was even hired 3 years ago at the Texas Success Center. But the way in which we support each of our events and archive our events is through our events page. So I've included the link here. Our events page is dynamic. We're all constantly adding things to it. So right now it includes links to our assigned pre-readings that I just shared with you, links to the advanced work for you to complete that Martha and I just shared with you, links to the nomination package that Martha just shared with you. Closer to the event, we're also going to add the 4 team strategy time documents. So there's a folder in there. It's gray, it's microscopic. I can barely see it right now on my screen, but there are various folders. And so there's team strategy time folders, depending on which cohort that your college is in. There's a folder for our concurrent session presentations. So when I ask everybody to submit the presentations through our document center, we're actually grabbing those and pre-populating that folder that says concurrent session presentations so that our presenters have them in real time for the attendees of their session to access, so they can follow along with the slides or receive any of the handouts and other resources that might be shared. And we also will make the slide decks of our keynote speakers available. So there's a folder for our keynote speakers. And in fact, I've also included a link to our Spring Institute, just so you can see. It's just where we archive all of our resources. And I want to make sure that you know that we're doing this for you, so that if you ever want to go back to a favorite presentation from a year ago, 4 years ago, etc., it's there on our website for you to reference or share. So we're nearly at the end of our time. I have pulled together all of the important dates into one slide. I won't go into detail because we've already talked about each and every one of these throughout our time today, but all of the dates, all of the links are in one spot for quick reference and for you to share with your team members. It does include a lot of the logistical items such as registration and nominations and the advanced work, as well as the call for proposals. And at this point, I want to go ahead and invite Dr. Linda Garcia to pop off of mute and to introduce an opportunity. We're really excited to have this robust partnership with Linda and with the Center for Community College Student Engagement.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Bailey, for allowing me to introduce this opportunity to the Texas colleges. For some time, the Texas Success Center, CESI, and Gates have been having a conversation about how we can better support Texas colleges in regards to dual enrollment, especially now since it's part of your performance-based funding. And so during that time, CESI developed, with the support of CCRC, John Fink. You've heard of John Fink. He's come to present at the institutes, and he's really leading the national conversation with dual enrollment with CCRC. They helped us develop a survey on dually enrolled students to understand that student experience. So when we're having that conversation, this pilot was occurring. And in fact, we had 6 Texas colleges participate in this pilot. 17 colleges total participated in 10 states. And so when we were having this conversation, Gates decided, it would be a great idea if we provided this opportunity for Texas colleges to administer this survey for free. In fact, we will support it, and Gates jumped in on it. And so this is the opportunity for you. If you're interested, if your college is interested in administering this specific survey in the spring semester. So just to let you know what areas this survey focuses on, you will see that on the PowerPoint. You see that list. It'll be about academic advising. You see barriers to persistent, career counseling, goals, getting started, motivation, stigma, student effort. You see all those areas. In fact, if you want to learn more about this, you want to look at the survey, or if you want to look at the survey items, particularly in those focus areas, you can go to that website. You see the URL below on top of the screen. It says ceci.org/grant-work/dual enrollment. So I invite you to go to that website and just to look at it. So if you are interested, on the next slide, there is a QR code, and it will take you to this very brief form. Just let us know that you're interested. Once we receive that, we will send you the link to register. In fact, we will email all presidents in the state about this opportunity. So the goal is to administer this survey for spring 2025. So you'll have the entire spring semester to do that. You will receive your results by August 15th. And just to let you know, here are some nuggets that we learned in our preliminary data for administering this pilot for 2 years. We learned that students, when we asked students, why are you participating in dual enrollment? It was very different between students of color versus white students. White students were already thinking about transfer. They're thinking about the bachelor's degree, where students of color are thinking about the associate degree. So there's an opportunity to have conversations with students of color about transfer opportunities, especially with also first generation students. Before we created this survey, quite a bit of presidents were approaching CESI and asking, when the students graduate from the high school and they receive dual credit, why are they not continuing with us? Dual enrollment is increasing, but they're not staying with us. Can you help us understand the experience of these students? Well, here's an opportunity where you can start digging in deep, because the data have shown in the preliminary, the pilot, these students are saying, I really don't have a lot of conversation with folks at the college. It's usually with my high school counselors. I don't know any advisors. I don't know anybody who works at the college, because mostly these students are taking the courses at the high school. Colleges who participate in the pilot are re-strategizing how they communicate to high school counselors, to the high school, and how they communicate to dual enrollment. So again, this is just a conversation starter to help you dig in deeper, to strengthen relationships with students and their family, to make sure, or just encourage them to continue with you after they graduate high school. So again, this is a free opportunity. We would love to have you be part of this project for spring 2025. And just to let you know, this survey will actually go live publicly for everybody in the nation, all colleges in the nation, for spring 2026. So this is the last phase for our pilot. And so if you can complete this information, QR code, just submit your interest by September 20th, then that will lead us to the next step, just to communicate with you, because we want to set you up for success when you administer the survey for the spring. And then just one last thing, Dr. Bailey, that I will mention. The single most important question that we receive from CESI is about IRB, because students are under 18. They ask us, is it okay to do this? Well, let me tell you, my friends. So UT, we're part of the University of Texas at Austin, and they have given approval because this is considered program evaluation. So colleges who have administered during the pilot have used that to move forward. But also they show that to their own IRB at their own college. So we can help guide that conversation as well. If you want to look at the survey, it's on our website. If you want to look at a couple of articles that we've written about the data, it's on our website. If you want to look at which colleges participate, especially the 6 colleges that participated in this pilot, it's also on our website. So we hope you participate, and we will be sending more information to your president. Dr. Bailey, I hand it off to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. We're so thankful once again for the great partnership that we have with you and with the center. Linda, let me invite you to just drop your email into the chat in case somebody wants to reach out to you directly. And thank you so much for joining us. Please know that the Texas Success Center team and your Pathways coaches are here to serve you as you begin your preparation for the Institute. Logistical questions like registration may be directed towards Sway Youngston by emailing institutes@tac.org. And if you have any questions regarding programming, please feel free to email me directly. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in Fort Worth. Bye-bye.